Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Every Horror Movie on Netflix, the podcast where we watch, review, and discuss every horror movie on Netflix. I'm Patrick, and I'm back, as always, with my co-hosts, Allison with an I.
Hey.
And Allison with a Y.
Hi, everyone.
We are here together to do our monthly horror catch-up episode where we take a break from our practice of watching Netflix horror movies and talk about all the horror media that we've been consuming outside of our mission to watch every horror movie on Netflix. And we are actually organizing the conversation today by medium, so we're going to talk about a few new movie releases to start. Allison with an I know you and I both saw the new Final Destination Bloodlines.
Yeah, I saw most of it. Full disclaimer, I saw most of it. I tapped out about 3/4 of the way through because I had a faulty stream. So don't tell the FBI, but I did not see it in theaters. I wanted to, but it didn't happen for me. But yeah, what did you think about it, Patrick?
I'll start by saying I loved the movie. Yeah. You know, I love this franchise in general. If you listen back to our episode where we reviewed every Final Destination movie ever, I love pretty much all of these. There's like one movie in the franchise that I think is trash. Otherwise, I love it for the creativity of these insane deaths, and also the way it kind of tweaks my anxiety, because it's like watching my anxiety play out in real time, but also the events are so ridiculous that it's therapeutic for me, because I'm like, oh, this is absurd. This could not actually happen to me.
Yeah, and they're getting more absurd as the franchise goes on.
Oh, yeah. And this one has some doozies in it. The misdirects and the ways characters actually wind up finally going are amazing, creative, gory, and so fucking funny. My friend Greg, and friend of the show, he's been on the podcast a few times. Greg and I were in the theater just cackling at the fucking movie. How did it sit with you, and are you a fan of the franchise in general?
Oh, I'm a total slut for this franchise, for sure.
Yes.
So funny. I was driving down the highway with my daughter, who's a horror movie lover, but she's actually getting more sensitive, and she's like straying away from horror. And obviously she, whatever level of horror or not horror she wants to participate in, no pressure from me, and there never was. But we're driving down the highway and there's a logging truck in front of us, right? It's everybody's scariest Final Destination scare.
Yeah, I giggled as soon as you said highway, because I was like, oh, I already know where this is going.
And I looked over and I go, oh my God. And I pointed at the truck and she looked at me like I was crazy. And I thought to myself, you know what? I'm not going to tell her about this one.
Good for you.
That's good. You did her a favor, I think.
She can be the 1% of people that have not seen this movie that like horror, that are totally oblivious to the potential peril of being behind a logging truck.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think it's such a generational thing now, too. Like, I think seeing a logging truck brings up a certain memory for millennials, and I bet Zoomers and younger just don't have that.
And thank God, because like that is such a... that one wasn't, that particular kill early in the franchise wasn't totally unrealistic, right? Like, you're like, that could totally fucking happen.
Yeah.
This particular film, it's the last one, right, of the franchise?
I mean, supposedly.
So they say.
Yeah.
I feel like every scene was like a Goldberg machine of just, like they've gotten a lot more, a lot of red herrings. And some of them were laugh out loud funny, like the barbecue scene, obviously, that was featured in the trailer. But I did really like the backstory and the first 20 minutes or so of the movie, what they do with it, and they go back in history, I thought was really interesting and really well filmed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't expect a period piece to some degree out of a Final Destination movie, but it worked. It worked just fine. And I was a little worried when I started to see these glowing reviews for the movie that it was going to try and be like a movie about something, like it was going to try and be more than just a Final Destination movie, which just would have been the wrong call. And fortunately, it sticks to the formula. Tony Todd shows up briefly in honestly a heartbreaking cameo because, that man was huge. He was just a big fucking dude. And in this movie, he is emaciated. He looks like a skeleton. And, I think he was more or less literally at death's door when he made this. And they give him a couple of lines that are a little schmaltzy and sort of sentimental about, the meaning of life and death and whatever. And that's about as far as it goes as far as trying to be like a movie about something. And it's the perfect little touch. It's the perfect send-off for Tony Todd, a fucking horror icon. And outside of that, it's just balls to the wall, crazy shit. Did you get to the part with the garbage truck?
Nope.
Okay. Well worth whenever you get a chance.
I'm gonna
catching up
finish
to
it.
the final quarter, yeah, because there's some doozies, and there's also going to be something relevant to the story you just told. That's
Okay,
all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, we can talk offline when I finish it. But yeah, I mean, what I saw, I really liked, and it did seem very on brand.
Yeah.
It's great. I love that franchise.
Oh, it's wonderful. And I hope it's not the last one. Honestly, like if they make another one this good that carries on the stupid ass disgusting legacy of this franchise as well as Bloodlines does, bring it on. Bring it on. Before we move out of the movie section of Horror Catchup, I also want to give a shout out to a recent release that it seems like it just went straight in and back out of theaters, and I'm hoping that more folks get to catch it when it's on streaming. Dangerous Animals.
Ugh.
Did you see this?
No, I'm dying to see it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's wonderful. Jai Courtney or Jay Courtney, I actually don't know how you pronounce his name. If it was Jay, it would be so great. I could drop the effect in there because it's spelled the same way. Ugh. Anyways, he plays a serial killer who kills people by taking them out on a shark boat. He appears to be a tour guide and feeding them to sharks and videotaping them. And it's kind of this cat and mouse type of thing where he kidnaps a surfer girl and it's her trying to outwit him and not get fed to the fucking sharks. It is, I think, it's a good script, but it's a difficult concept, I think, to execute well because it could be sort of silly. It's a weird concept, but it is so well done, so well directed. Hassie Harrison, the actor who plays the protagonist, this surfer girl, is wonderful. Just a fucking badass who's a bit of a dangerous animal herself, it turns out. And Jai Courtney, I've made fun of this motherfucker for years because he mostly has played generic ass white boy action heroes in the most generic ass white boy action movies imaginable. He always struck me as vanilla as it could possibly be, and he's awesome in this. He's scary as fuck, big Tom Hardy energy, physical similarities, like facial similarities, but also just that like brooding, intense brawler maniac kind of energy. He's fantastic. It's, it goes right in the great shark movie canon for me. It's a banger. So yeah, check that out. If it's not in theaters near you right now, see Dangerous Animals when it hits streaming. It's wonderful, and I would love to see more from the folks who made this movie. And I want to see more from Jai Courtney if he's going to be doing shit like this. Like, come on, bring it on, Jai, however you say your name.
And it's shark season.
Yeah.
And Allison with a Y, and I love sharks, and we are chock full of shark facts. So
that's right.
Shark facts.
Yeah. Sharksters, get on it.
Sharksters.
All right, let's move on to the literary scene. Allison with a Y, I think you have a horror book to share with us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I started listening to the audiobook for this horror book called Gallows Hill by Darcy Coates. It was recommended to me. I was looking for another one to listen to. And I'm only about halfway through now, but I did want to talk about it so far because I think it's quite atmospheric. And it's creepy. So basically the premise is this woman inherits her estranged parents' wine business. It's called Gallows Hill Winery. And she basically was like sent off to live with her grandparents when she was young. And her parents died pretty unexpectedly, seemingly of natural causes. And after, they die, she's the one who inherits the business. So she goes to live there and to figure out the business. And of course, there's mysteries, and the estate itself is creepy, and there's strange characters around. And I like I said, I'm just about halfway through, and it's like really like the suspense is really picking up. There's kind of like spooky uncertainty that's happening all along the way right now, and I'm like, okay, where is this going? So I'm like at a really good point in the book where it's got me pretty hooked. I'll let you know during the next horror catch up if the ending lives up to kind of where it feels like it's going right now. But I'm into it. So that's Gallows Hill by Darcy Coates, and I've been listening to the audiobook, and yeah, it's a fun one if you like atmospheric, kind of maybe supernatural family mysteries.
Nice.
And then I understand that you read a classic. I have. I've just finished my first read through of Stephen King's Misery, which it doesn't get more classic for Stephen King. Somehow this one has just not made it into my life until recently. I saw the movie, probably 25 years ago. So I have zero recollection of the movie. I knew what the plot was just because it's been talked about over and over and over, and it's been referenced as one of the great classics. But Misery, this psychological horror novel about a famous novelist who ends up in the care of, turns out, his biggest fan. Annie Wilkes is her name. She's the biggest fan, and she turns out to be one of the scariest villains I have ever known in my lifetime of horror. Quite possibly the scariest female villain that I have ever known. Truly, I mean, every single page of this book was masterful writing. And I've talked in the past about Stephen King, how like he can do no wrong in my life. He's like an old friend to me. I've been reading Stephen King novels since I was 10 or 12, but this writing was, I think, as good as it gets for him. I could not put it down. Those are just the best. And, I rarely find books like that anymore. Like I have to slog through a lot of the books that I try to read. This was not one of them. So, I mean, just the derangement of this woman and some of the scenes of violence are so terrifying and so unhinged, and you are truly terrified. Have either of you read it, seen the movie?
I've seen the movie a few times, but no, I've never read the book. The movie is one of those that diminishes in my memory, I guess. It always kind of surprises me when I rewatch it how fucking well it works. And it's great direction, great acting, because again, hard concept to pull off. It's basically two people in a fucking room for the entire thing. And Kathy Bates and James Caan are the people to pull it off.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a banger. I am very curious to read the novel, though.
Oh my God, 100% would recommend. Cover to cover, I was just like completely disturbed, completely hooked on this story. And so for anyone out there who loves, Stephen King, if you haven't gotten around to this one somehow, it maybe surpassed 11/22/63 as my favorite Stephen King novel.
Oh,
yeah.
We've never talked about 11/22 before. That's such a good book.
Oh my God, it's so good. But I am going to treat myself to the Misery movie now again because, I think now is the time to do it. And it's so far gone in my memory that it will be like watching it again for the first time.
Yeah, I might be due to treat myself to the movie again as well and finally check out the book.
I've never seen the movie before. I've avoided it because I feel like it's really going to stress me the fuck out.
Oh, it's so stressful.
Because it is something that actually could happen.
Mm-hmm.
So, when it's a little too real, I don't.
I could see you liking the book because it's a kind of a slow burn. But the writing alone is so masterful that I think what your reservations are, and I do think you would appreciate the book.
Okay.
And actually
That's
like
good
it.
To know.
Like more than just tolerate it. I think you would actually like it.
Okay. Yeah.
Nice.
So I guess we're going to get into, is it TV next? You guys you two have been watching
What We Do in the Shadows. We're moving from the literary world to the boob tube.
The boob tube. Yeah, Patrick and I finally started watching the final season of What We Do in the Shadows. We're big fans.
Mm-hmm. But it takes us forever to do anything.
Yeah, it does, because we've got 10 million shows to try to watch.
Yep. It's probably been out for like at least 6 months at this point.
Yeah, it's been out for a hot minute. But yeah, I think we're like, 3 episodes in so far?
Yeah. And delightful, as always.
Yeah.
I mean, our fucking cat is named Colin Robinson.
Yeah.
Like, we love this show.
And I can't speak for you, Patrick, but when I was first introduced to the movie, I was like, oh my God, this is my sense of humor. So I had a lot of reservations when like the show came out, because I was like, can you turn that film into a show and have it be good? And it's one of those rare instances where I am like, how is the show better than the movie? And I still I think the movie is great, but the show is better than the movie and has continued to be, in my opinion.
Yep. Yeah, and it's been great, just the quarter or so of the season that we've seen so far, as unhinged as anything that they've done so far. And Tim Heidecker shows up. I fucking love Tim. I love Tim and Eric, and I actually had no idea that he was going to be in the show, so it was delightful to see him as like a douchey venture capitalist who the vampire familiar Guillermo goes to work for after finally sort of escaping the clutches of these douchebag vampires.
Sort of.
Yeah, sort of, kind of.
I've only watched bits and pieces of What We Do in the Shadows, but it is so fucking funny. But I think I need to like sit down and watch it more intentionally, because every clip that, there's so many clips that are quote worthy and like have become some vocal stems for me, like New York City. It was like Clem Fandango, like all of it is so funny. But I've never like sat down and watched show episode after episode, so this was the tipping point I needed.
I think you would really love it. It's so fast paced. It's just hysterical, and these characters who are all kind of shitheads, like, also are really lovable.
Yeah.
Every so often. My favorite and most common vocal stem from that show is when Nandor goes to the gift shop and is going through like those keychains that you see in a gift shop where they have a zillion keychains with different people's names on them, A to Z. And he picks up a keychain that says Steve and just holds it up to the camera and goes, "This would make a great gift for a guy named Steve." And the delivery, the line is so fucking good. And I just say it randomly all the time. We also just say things in the voice of Laszlo all the time. Like, nothing that he actually says, but we just, like, talk to our cats as Laszlo.
Try to speak as Laszlo. And then I often find myself singing Pink Pony Club as Naja.
Oh, yeah. Isn't there a reel of that or something?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw a TikTok, and then I was like, this is fucking brilliant. And now, without even thinking about it, I just walk around the house going, "You're a pink pony girl, and you dance in the club, oh mama. Oh, just having fun in the stage in my heels." And yeah.
I love it.
And similarly, we walk around and go, "You rat bastard!"
To our cats.
To the cats, yeah.
Frequently.
It is so quotable. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's so good.
So that's our What We Do in the Shadows vocal stems. And to close out the show today, Allison with an I know you caught up to a movie that we raved about a catch-up episode or two ago.
I finally saw Sinners. I was way behind, and I thought I have to see this movie before it leaves theaters, because from what I heard and then from what the two of you further emphasized was the music in this movie makes it. I wanted to hear it big and loud, and that it fucking was. Mission accomplished. Oh my God. Okay, so first of all, favorite movie of 2025 so far.
Nice.
Hands down. Like the scene, and we decided not to spoil it last time, so I'll continue to not spoil it. But the scene where Sammy plays the blues in such a way that integrates all historical genres and eras in one big jam session was the coolest fucking thing I have seen. on the big screen, maybe in my life. Like it was, felt like I was on an acid trip for 2 minutes. I could not pee. I mean, I was literally sitting at the edge of my seat with my elbows on my knees and like, what is this? This is fucking insane. I loved the female characters in this movie. I loved how smart they were and how savvy they were. I loved Annie so much. Like her witchy, like all the things. Oh my God. I loved every single character in this movie. The music, the acting. So this was a movie that I went in knowing as little as possible about, which is sort of what I try to do with movies nowadays. And somehow, like, despite everybody talking about it when it came out, despite us talking about it on Horror Catchup episode, I still had no idea what I was in for. Like, I was completely taken aback by, I think I knew maybe 2% of the plot, right? And the rest of it was just, holy shit, okay, did not know that was going to happen. Didn't know that historical reference was going to be made, or this cultural thing was going to tie into this cultural thing. And oh my God, I was so delighted, and like immediately came home, treated myself finally to all the think pieces and spoilers about it because I had been avoiding them. And no notes, favorite movie of 2025, like not even a question in my mind. So
Hell
wow.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I'm glad you got to see it in the theater.
Me too.
As I said when we talked about it before, I was really hoping to see it a second time in theaters. We both were. Allison with Hawaii and I both were. Didn't make it, but I am, and this is a good opportunity too to preview. It's going to be on, I think, Max on July 4th, appropriately enough. So
I know what I'm doing that weekend.
Yeah, so we can get in a second viewing then. But goddamn, what a good movie to see it in theater. Sinners, we love it.
We love it.
So good.
A triple view it for
another triple view it.
We love it. All right, well, I think that closes out our horror catch-up for this month. And you know what episode number it is today, y'all?
What episode number is it?
It's episode number 199. You know what that makes next episode?
302?
Close, but no. It's the 200th episode of the fucking podcast.
Wow.
My goodness.
And we're going to have all kinds of special stuff next episode. We're going to have, of course, you have to have a little walk down memory lane. So we're going to do that. But also, we kind of skipped our normal movie picking order to kind of agree on a consensus pick for the 200th episode. Because you got to review something of significance. You know, we can't be out here reviewing fucking American Poltergeist or something like that for the 200th episode. We are going to be watching Alfred Hitchcock's 1960 classic Psycho for our 200th episode. And I'm pretty stoked about it because I haven't seen it in many years. I'll talk next episode about my feelings about it from my previous viewing, but I am very excited to revisit it because it's a classic, of course.
Yeah, I'm thrilled about this. I've seen
I'm
it many times. Have you seen it? Why?
I've only seen the 1998 shot-for-shot remake.
Oh boy!
So I'm excited to see this because the remake didn't do anything for me personally.
Oh, I'm so jealous that you haven't seen it before. You get to watch it for the first time.
I know, it'll be cool.
I want to watch the remake for the first time. I know it's not well liked, but I'm so morbidly curious about all that. Anyways, that's not what we're watching next episode. We'll be watching Psycho for the 200th episode, and we are looking forward to seeing you there. Until then, visit the website, everyhorrormovieonnetflix.com, where you can find links to all our episodes, as well as a link to our merch store, where you can get t-shirts and other goods and sundries with art that I designed on them. We'd also love to have you follow us on social media.
On Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, and YouTube at AmonCast, EHMONcast, and then also on TikTok at Amon Podcast.
We also got a Discord community. We'd love to have you join us on there. We've got folks from all over the world talking about whatever horror they're watching right now, as well as talking about the show and the movies that we're watching for the show. And there's a link to that in the notes for this episode. Lastly, as always, we love to hear your feedback, and it helps people find the show when you leave us a review on your podcast provider of choice. So head on out there and do that. We would love to get a nice review from you for our 200th birthday, 200th episode,
200th birthday.
day, whatever. I don't know. What the fuck?
200 years.
It feels like it sometimes. Oh, boy. Well, we will see you on episode 200. Until then, for every horror movie on Netflix, I'm Patrick.
I'm Allison with a Y.
And Allison with an I.
And we'll see you next time.